Hello students, welcome back to my video here. Today we are going to start with a new chapter, molecular basis of DNA. So here first of all we have to understand the structure of DNA, how it's look like, what is its composition. Okay, if you understand it in a much better way, so that our understanding about its functioning and all, everything will be much better. So you can see here I have drawn here a structure of a DNA. This is a double stranded model or double helix model of DNA. Okay, this model was proposed by the scientist Watson and Crick in 1953. They proposed this model, double stranded model of DNA. Remember this, okay? Double stranded model of DNA. Okay? Now you can understand the twisted structure is the helical structure I am talking about. Okay? Some few facts we have to know about the DNA. See, we can see here two strands here. Okay, we have to give the polarity also. Along with the strand we have to mention their polarity also. Like if it is here 5 prime polarity, the same strand, okay, the same strand here it will be a 3 prime polarity. Opposite here 5 prime here, then it will be here 3 prime polarity. So both the strands polarity is opposite. Okay, how this 5 prime 3 prime comes, that also we will understand. Okay, now this, the two strands, as you can see, this is one strand, this is another strand, two strands here. Okay, the distance between the two strands we must know. I'm just showing at one particular location. Suppose if I show this distance, okay, the distance between the two strands, it is 2 nanometer, okay, or else you can say 20 angstrom, the distance between the two strands. Okay, now you can see here that these are the some locations which is visible here. Let me name this. This is the location. Okay, this part is known as the minor groove. Okay, and from here to here, this area is the major groove. Okay, minor groove and major groove. Okay, and now you see the base pairs here in between. In between the two strands there are base pairs. The red lines are the base pairs basically. So what are these base pairs all about, that also we'll understand. But before that, let us see that there is a distance, the distance between the two consecutive base pair. Okay, the distance between the two consecutive base pair, let's take here the distance between the two consecutive base pair, any two base pair, any two distance between any two consecutive base pair is 0.34 nanometer. Okay, and now look at here, from here, from this position. Okay, if I go to this location, from this area of the strands, curve position from here till here, this part, okay, you can understand, this is one turn of the strand. Okay, one turn of the strand from here till here, one strand, one turn of the strand. So that is for the pitch of the DNA. What is called? It is the pitch of DNA. And what is the distance of the pitch? Is 3.4 nanometer. Okay, The pitch of the DNA, if it is asked, is 3.4 nanometer, the distance of one turn. Okay. Now, in this one turn of the DNA strand, okay, how many base pairs are there? Remember, in this one turn, means in one pitch of DNA, there are 10 base pairs. How many base pairs are supposed to be here? 10 base pairs. Okay. So these are some of the facts about the DNA structure, overall structure. If we can also say the external structure. Okay, the measurements in between the different structures of the DNA. Okay. So now we will see that how this DNA, the strand, is actually made up of. Okay, just 1 second. Okay. So how the DNA strand is made up of? We have seen the basic measurements of the DNA, some facts. Okay. The DNA is a macromolecule, and which is mainly made up of the molecules known as nucleotides. Nucleotide molecules, one after another, they bind with each other, okay, and they form the entire DNA strand. Okay. Like, just if I show you here, the molecules, they are like this. Okay, on both the strands, the nuclear molecule, they are like this. Okay, one after another, they bind with each other, they form a chain. The entire strand is like this. Okay, so here also I'm just showing few locations, okay, of the nucleotide molecules. So this is how the entire strand. Understood? So on both the strands, the nucleotide molecules are there, okay, one after another. So entire strand that is actually made up of the nucleotide molecules. So each of these are the nucleotide molecules. Okay. So to understand the nucleotide molecules, see, we have to see its composition. What is this nucleotide molecule made up of? Number one, it's a sugar. There is a sugar, okay, and it is a pentose sugar. Pentose sugar. Okay, we will see the sugar again. Number two, nitrogenous base. Okay, and number three, a phosphate group. Okay, these are the three components which make the nucleotide molecule, one nucleotide molecule. Okay, first of all, the sugar and the nitrogenous base. See, a sugar is a pentose sugar, so this is a sugar structure. Okay, when with this sugar, one nitrogenous base comes and bind. Okay, this structure, this is a sugar, this is a nitrogenous base. Okay, when these two components comes together, this structure is known as nucleoside. Okay, and just the phosphate group needs to come and bind with the nucleoside, it will be a nucleotide. So this is here, the phosphate group comes and binds here, PO4. So with the nucleoside, just the phosphate group comes and binds, and it becomes a nucleotide molecule. Understood? This is a nucleotide molecule. Now Let us see the sugar, a little more information about the sugar. The sugar, as I said, that this is a pentose sugar. It is a pentose sugar. Two types of sugars are there. One is ribose sugar, another one is deoxyribose sugar. Okay, one is ribose sugar, one is deoxyribose sugar. Okay, this ribose sugar is present in the RNA, which is also carry genetic material, while deoxyribose is found in the DNA. So the DNA full form is deoxyribonucleic acid. So DNA and RNA, these are nothing but these are nucleic acids. Okay, and this one is deoxyribonucleic acid. So the deoxyribonucleic acid, the deoxyribo comes came from the sugar name. The sugar is deoxyribose, which is present in the DNA. So from the name of the sugar, the deoxyribo comes. Deoxyribo, then nucleic acid, DNA. Same here, RNA. The sugar name is ribose sugar. So from here ribose, it comes ribo, and then nucleic acid. Okay. So this is how the sugar that is present in the DNA and in the RNA. So here basically we are talking about the DNA here. So it is the deoxyribose which is present here. Though separately I will show you the structure of the deoxyribose and ribose sugar both. So I hope this much is clear to you. So let me just rub this part. Okay. Now see how their molecular structure I am going to show you. Okay. This is very important for you. Okay, so look at this structure. This is the structure of the ribose sugar. Okay, ribose sugar structure. Okay, there are prime positions. Positions also you have to mention here. This is the first prime position, second prime position, third prime position, fourth prime position, and this is the fifth prime position. So 5 carbons you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 carbon is there. Okay. Now look at here, and okay, let me first draw the deoxyribose sugar, then I will tell you. You have to, you must practice these structures. So let me give the positions here. First prime position, second prime position, third prime position, fourth prime position and fifth prime position. Okay. This is the diagram of the deoxyribose. Okay. And this is here the diagram of the ribose sugar. Now see, if you look at these two structure of the sugar, ribose sugar and deoxyribose sugar, do you understand that in the name what is the difference? One is ribose, one is deoxyribose. How the name? Okay. Look at here. At the 2' position of this ribose sugar, there is a hydroxyl group present. OH. Hydroxyl group present here at the 2' position of sugar. Okay. this hydroxyl group is very reactive in nature, and that is why the RNA, the sugar is present in the RNA. That's why, because of this reactive nature of hydroxyl group present in the RNA, in the sugar of the RNA, so that makes the RNA very reactive in nature. Okay, so RNA reacts very much, and mutation that takes place very frequently in the RNA. Okay, very unstable in nature RNA because of this reactive hydroxyl group, presence of this hydroxyl group. Okay, if you look at the deoxyribose sugar, at the 2' position only hydrogen is there. It means the oxygen is missing here at the 2' position. Can you see this? The oxygen is absent here in the 2' position, and that is why it is called deoxy. So here actually the concept of deoxy comes. The oxygen is absent here at the 2' position in the deoxyribose sugar, and that this change in the deoxyribose sugar, it doesn't make the DNA reactive in nature, because hydroxyl group as a whole is reactive in nature. As oxygen is absent here, so this change makes the deoxyribose, and so then it makes the DNA very stable in nature, very less reactive compared to RNA. DNA is very less reactive, okay, and very stable in nature, and that is why it says that DNA is better genetic material than RNA. Why? Because the DNA have this deoxyribose sugar where the structure is very stable in nature, and stability that gives, that is actually, advantageous for evolution. Okay, whereas RNA is very reactive because of the hydroxyl group. RNA is also a genetic carrying genes, genetic material, but DNA is better genetic material, it is considered as, okay, because of this structure, the absence of hydroxyl group in the 2' position, at the 2' position of the sugar. Okay, so this is the logic. Remember this point. It is asked in the question that why DNA is considered as better genetic material than RNA. Why DNA is stable, comparatively much stable in nature and less reactive in nature than RNA. Why? This is the logic behind it. That's why I have shown you the true structure of sugar. Clear? So fine. Next topic we have our nitrogenous bases. Okay. So let's see. This is the first sugar we have done. I hope you understood what I am discussing here. Next, nitrogenous bases. Okay, just 1 second. Okay, let us see the nitrogenous bases here. Nitrogenous bases. We broadly categorize the nitrogenous bases into two: purines and pyrimidines. Okay, purines are adenine and guanine, while pyrimidines are thymine, cytosine and uracil. Okay, these are the nitrogenous bases. Now there is a concept called base pairing in the DNA. Okay, the base pairing, it means that two bases pair up. Okay, one is purine, one is pyrimidine. Clear? One purine binds with another pyrimidine. That's the base pair. We don't see purine pairing or pyrimidine pairing. No, we see purine pair up with pyrimidine. So here adenine, that is A, okay, binds with thiamine T, okay, and guanine that binds with cytosine. Okay, now look at here. These are this is the double hydrogen bond in between adenine and thymine. Two hydrogen bonds. And in between guanine and cytosine, three hydrogen bonds are there. Remember this. Okay. There are molecular structures of nitrogenous bases too. You have to practice the structures of nitrogenous bases. Okay. Now, this is what the base pairing found in the DNA. Clear? In RNA, what happens is that the uracil now left, right? If you look at this, 4 already here, but one uracil is left here. In RNA, what happens is that this thymine is replaced by uracil. So what happens here? In RNA, if I see, it is the adenine binds with uracil, and guanine as it is binds with cytosine. This is the only difference. This is RNA, this is DNA, base pairing. Okay. So one of the base, nitrogenous base, okay, goes and binds with the sugar at its 2' position. Sorry, first prime position. Remember, okay. So sugar, that nucleotide I am talking about, the sugar is there, and at the first prime position, one of the nitrogenous base needs to go and bind. That makes it a nucleoside. Clear? And apart from the nitrogenous bases, what is left is the phosphate group. Okay, PO4. That ultimate. So this nitrogenous bases go and bind well at the first prime position of the sugar. Clear? And the phosphate group which is left, the phosphate group goes and binds at the 5th prime position of the sugar, and that makes it a nucleotide molecule. Okay, I hope these are the constituents that I have discussed, you understood it. So finally, if I look into the nucleotide molecule, so what I see here is that a sugar here is the first prime position where a nitrogenous base comes and binds here, and the 5th prime position here the phosphate group comes and binds. So this becomes a nucleotide molecule. Okay, so this is one nucleotide molecule. Let me draw one more nucleotide molecule here. Same nitrogenous base, first prime position, 5th prime position, the phosphate group. Okay, so few nucleotide molecule, let me draw first. PO4, phosphate group, done. 3, another 3 let me draw here. But remember one thing, this is something very important. The two strands of DNA are in opposite polarity, in opposite direction, it means that. So this strand, the direction is in this way, so another one will be in opposite way. So here it will be the phosphate group, and this side it will be the nitrogenous bases. Same here, phosphate group, and here nitrogenous bases, phosphate group and nitrogenous bases. Clear? Now these are two strands. See, 6 at this side, 3 nucleotide molecule, at this side 3 nucleotide molecule. Okay, so now see here, this molecule needs to bind with each other, then only the strand chain will form. Chain is not yet developed, the molecule needs to be bind with each other, right? Now very important thing, remember the bond. Now 3 bonds are going to talk about that. The bond in this bond, okay, the bond in between the sugar and the nitrogenous base is known as the N-glycosidic bond. Okay, and the bond between the phosphate group and the sugar is known as the phosphoester bond. This is something very important you have to remember. Okay, the bond between the sugar and the nitrogenous base is the N-glycosidic bond, and the bond between the phosphate group and the sugar is the phosphoester bond. Here, so everywhere it is same. Now this nucleotide molecule needs to bind with each other. This phosphate group at the 5th prime position of this sugar or this nucleotide molecule, okay, going to bind with the 3 prime position of this sugar. Okay, this is the 1st prime position, we know. 2nd prime position, this is the 3 prime position, 4th prime position, 5th prime position. So at the 3rd prime position, 3 prime position, the phosphate group binds here. Same here, this phosphate group goes and binds with this 3 prime position of this sugar. The next one. Okay, same will be here. This phosphate group going to bind with this sugar at the 3 prime position. This is the 3 prime position. Same here, this goes and binds at the 3 prime position of the sugar. Okay, now see, the one single phosphate group that binds with 2 sugars of the 2 consecutive nucleotide molecules. So this phosphate group binds with this sugar, the phosphate group, the same with the phosphoester bond, the same phosphate group binds with this sugar, also another phosphoester bond. So phosphoester bond. So how many phosphoester bond we got here? One is here in between these two, another is in between these two. So 2 phosphoester bond we got here. This is known as phosphodiester bond. Phosphodiester bond. Okay, so phosphodiester bond that develops in between a phosphate group and 2 sugar of consecutive nucleotide molecules. Okay, the same here also, it is the phosphodiester bond. Phosphodiester bond everywhere it develops. Okay, now you see here, with this phosphodiester bond, these nucleotide molecules are connected with each other. Same this side also. So it becomes now 2 separate strands. So chain is developed. The chain is developed. Okay, if the question is what is the backbone of DNA is made up of, you will say the backbone of DNA is made up of the sugar and the phosphate group. Okay, the sugar, phosphate, sugar, phosphate, sugar, phosphate. This makes the backbone. So separately, if I say, let me show here this part. This part is the backbone of DNA. Remember this. Okay, this part is the backbone of DNA. So the backbone of DNA is made up of sugar and phosphate group. Clear? Now 2 strands we got connected. Separately 2 strands develop. The chains develop. Okay. Now the chains needs to be connected with each other. Connection is important. Okay. So that is by the hydrogen bonds. Okay. See, if it is adenine, it will be thymine. So here will be 2 hydrogen bonds here. If it is guanine, it is cytosine. So 3 hydrogen bonds will be here. Okay, same here, 2 hydrogen bonds here. So this is how the bonds. Now see, with these hydrogen bonds, the 2 chains are now interconnected. Okay, in the DNA helix, you see the lines in between. They are nothing but these hydrogen bonds in between the 2 strands that interconnect the 2 strands. Now it becomes the DNA structure. This is the DNA structure. 2 strands done. Strands are connected by the hydrogen bonds. This is what the DNA. Okay, now see why these strands are opposite direction. Why? See, if these 2 strands would have been in the same direction, they cannot be. It would not have been possible for the strands to connect with each other. As it is in opposite direction, one another opposite direction. That's why only the nitrogenous bases come in inside and they can bind with each other. So remember, these are the lungs. So if it is asked question, how the rungs of the DNA made up of, you will say the 2 nitrogenous bases binds with the hydrogen bond in between them, form the rungs of DNA. So these are the rungs of DNA, and they are the backbone of the DNA. Clear? So now see, last thing one I would like to say here in this chapter, in this topic. Just 1 second. Okay, one last thing I would like to share of this topic. See, we write 5 prime 3 prime polarity on both the sides of the DNA strand. How it comes? Now you will understand this. See here. Look at this nuclear molecule. Then suppose this is the last nuclear molecule of the strand, right? Every nuclear molecule, the 3 prime position is blocked by the phosphate group. Phosphoester bond is there. This is the last nuclear molecule. There is no nuclear molecule after this. So this 3 prime is free. Yes or no? This 3 prime becomes free because no nuclear molecule there below. This is the last one. So there is no one to come and bind to the 3 prime position. This is free position. That's why here I will write here 3 prime. Look at this one. Everywhere we see that as a sugar, okay, there is a 5th prime position. The phosphate group is here, which binds with the next one. At the 5th prime position, the phosphate group binds with the 3 prime position. Now this is the last one to the top level. Above that there is no nuclear molecule. This is the last one at the top. So this phosphate group, okay, is not going to bind with anybody here at the top. This is the last one. So this phosphate part, this 5 prime position remains free. That's why I write here 5 prime. So this strand now it becomes 5 prime and 3 prime. Another one, this 3 prime position is free here. So I'll write here 3 prime. And this is here, the 5th prime position is free here. Okay, so I'll write here 5 prime. So this becomes 3 prime, 5 prime. So see opposite here. 5 prime, 3 prime, 3 prime, 5 prime. Opposite polarity. Okay? Because there is no one to bind with the 5th prime position phosphate group because this is the last one. Same happens here. The 3 prime positions are free here. These two, and the 5th prime positions are free here. Okay? I hope this discussion today is going to help you a lot to understand the structure of the DNA. So we got the entire DNA formation here. Okay? So if you have any other questions or all, you can ask me. I am always there. Okay? I hope whatever you have discussed today, it will help you to understand the structure. I want you to note down all the important things there and the diagrams also. Okay? Thank you so much for watching the video. Thank you.